अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना. Sri Krishna Paramatma says that the soul remains unknown to those who takes this reality seriously. Some people talks about the soul, some people hears about the soul, but only a very few realize the soul. Like Eckhart Tolle says, a person who has never tasted honey can describe the experience and go on, but the person who has really tasted the honey has no words but to encourage others to taste it and know for themselves. The main reason why only a few people realize the soul inside their hearts is because the rest of us are amazed by what we see in this vibrational reality and perceive that to be true. Not many of us inquire ourselves about the source of perception. Sri Krishna Paramatma says there are many who talks about soul and the experience of realizing the soul, but listening to those talks is not essentially enlightens the listeners. Bhagavad Gita gives all the necessary tools required for a spiritual aspirant to conquer their ego mind and look within. आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेन माश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्. Sri Krishna Paramatma says here that the soul residing in any body could not be slain. The soul residing in animals, insects, humans, or any other living beings are all having the same independent power of consciousness. But then how do we explore? How do we find it? If our soul cannot be killed or stolen from us, neither does it expire or cease to exist, how do we realize it? In fact, the soul is awaiting our arrival to its presence more than we could know of. But then why it can't be simple and simply guide us towards it? What is that we are missing to understand? In this world which we perceive to be real, nothing is free. We need to pay in some modes for anything we want to consume or experience. Does the soul want any sort of payment from us? Yes, it does. It wants the aspirant to surrender himself to it completely. This surrender should be consecrated towards the Supreme. The surrender cannot be in only some aspects of our life, neither can it be divulged to God in different forms. We have to pick a path, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga. We need to pick the God form we want to worship as per our inner liking and surrender our desires, problems and the sense of false self-ego burdening us. This is how we begin our journey. देहे नित्यम् अवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Sri Krishna Paramatma here says, since we know we cannot kill the soul of any beings in this existence, there is no need to grieve about the death of the humans. Then the question arises, what is the point of birth and death? If the soul is going to exist always as before the birth of us, then let it be. Why we are bound by ignorance on this earth? Why we are here? Sri Aurobindo says that the Supreme Maya bliss created this earth and beings for unknown reason which we can't understand completely. The souls are born here to gain maturity for the propagation of this existence. As we know, the whole existence is made out of vibration and the Supreme Bliss wants us to sustain its creation for long as it wants to. We, as sparks of such eternal bliss, have been put on earth to understand and realize our true nature and be liberated into the vast as independent power consciousness. Sri Aurobindo calls us becoming Supraman from a normal man consciousness. Then again the question arises, what we need to do? What is the preparation for a seeker? There are three things an aspirant has to keep in mind. Number one, to transform and transcend our consciousness to the eternal, we need to put in the effort of aspiration in our meditation. The first 50% is our effort here. When the seeker crosses this stage, the soul pulls us in and does the remaining work. Number two, always consecrate and surrender as the soul expects nothing else from a seeker. The soul doesn't judge or score our efforts. And number three, disciplined in our efforts, meditating every day, preferably at the same time, and exponentially increasing the duration if possible. स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याधियुद्धात् श्रेयो अन्यच्छत्रियस्य न विद्यते. Sri Krishna Paramatma here says that every human has two responsibilities. One is to realize one's own inner truth, and the second one is to perform the social duties. These two acts should be fulfilled without deviation by every human. Yadruchaya chopapannam swargadwaram apavrutam sukinakshatriya partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. Here, Sri Krishna Paramatma says to Arjuna that he should be happy to wage this war in Kurukshetra, as it is a primary duty for a Kshatriya warrior to save his kingdom. This is not the war between Pandavas and Kauravas. This is a war between Dharma and Adharma, so Arjuna need not hesitate to fight this battle. Similarly, we should be happy and proud of whatever duties identified by us as per our birthright or per community norms or as per our own choice and free will. But running away from the duties is pure laziness, which Sri Krishna Paramatma condemns here in this verse. Athacheti tvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatasva dharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapyasi. Sri Krishna Paramatma here says that the real sin is to run away from our duties. Renouncing your duties in the name of unattachment is a sin. For example, an army man cannot be compassionate to enemies. If so, then it will be at the cost of his countrymen's lives. The duty taken by a human has to be fulfilled without fail. Akirti chapi bhutani katayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya chakirti maranadatirichyate. Sri Krishna Paramatma says that we are not only watched by the security systems in our buildings, we are also watched by gods and demigods of this universe. If the duty taken up by a human goes unfulfilled, then this will create dishonor for the human in this life and the afterlife. Imagine paying a hefty price and getting a bad product. How would you feel? The universe is giving all humans the immense power, guidance and divine intervention so that we could perform our duties and attain our self-realization eventually. But if a human escapes from his simple duties and being lazy, how the universal forces would help him to conquer his inner self or anything in the matter as in this earth?